Okay, so you got your gear. That was the easy part. Go you!
Thumbs up!
Now it's time for the script. Do you find yourself staring at a blank document or what? I mean, believe me, I know that writing a script can be very hard, but my advice, just speak from your heart. Don't think so hard, okay?
I haven't thought of anything, have you? No, neither have I. Think.
Get something on that paper and then go back and tweak it. It's a lot easier when you have something to work with, because when it's just blank, I know, it's daunting.
Come on, pencil, make words.
Perfectionism is not good. You know, when I'm writing, I definitely focus myself. I put on some classical music or some jazz music, like some jazz covers, and I just let it rip, you know? Just start to type some things, see what comes out, and go back and tweak it. You can always go back and tweak, but to just be staring at a blank page is not gonna get you anywhere. So what I suggest is you come up with a bunch of topics that you think you'll have something helpful, useful, or entertaining to talk about. So here's a couple prompts that I like to work with. 1, what are you knowledgeable in? 2, what do you have a strong opinion on? 3, what are some things that you typically say to your own clients? 4, what could you say that would help establish you as an authority figure in this space? 5, what's trending in your field? Now, once you have some ideas, write out an outline of the points that you want to hit in each video, pick the strongest one, and then start writing, baby. You'll need an intro, starting with who you are and maybe a hint of your background, and do not forget to tell them to like and subscribe. You know that I've already asked you to do that, so you need to do the same thing for your videos. Keep them coming back for more. Come on, we got more videos coming out. Next, a huge tip that I often use is once the script is written, read it out loud. If it sounds too fancy or the verbiage doesn't sound or feel like how you typically talk to a friend or a client, then it is gonna fall flat, baby. It is gonna be boring, it is gonna be fake.
Yes. I still don't get it.
And you know you're as real as it gets. I mean, perfect is boring. Like I said, mess that script up a little bit. Add some pauses, add some breaths, add some moments where it feels like you are on the fly. So, you know, some commentary, some endings. You can say, you know? That sounds more natural. I mean, question for you. Do you think that I have been reading off of a teleprompter this whole time or just winging it? Or both? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Also, once you get comfortable with your script, you can allow yourself to sort of deviate from it or add to it if there's time. You know, just be flexible with your performance and you're gonna do great. Also remember, you are not writing a passage for a book or anything that needs to be flawless. This script needs to feel natural as possible. Got it? All right, good. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the do's and the don'ts of speaking to the camera. Don't have dead eyes and a bored expression on your face. Before you begin performing to camera, do take a nice deep breath. Ooh, what's in my nose? Do take a nice deep breath and smile leading into it. Now, I know that you may feel like a goober just smiling with yourself, waiting for the script to scroll up, but I am telling you, it's gonna add so much warmth to your video and it's gonna make people immediately feel at ease as they watch you. All right, so I'm gonna let the prompter scroll up to where I wanna start, take a deep breath, smile, and wait for the action. Once you find the right teleprompter pacing, do find places to pause and take a breath. Good, right? That's all you gotta do. Short breaths will do between sentences or at commas, but remember, do not fall into a cadence. Now what I mean by that is, you know, don't get monotone or follow into the same da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Terrible, terrible. You wanna differentiate it.
The Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which anyone raised or lowered, raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government.
You know, I actually remember years ago, I was filming a pet supermarket commercial, and the director on set told me that I followed a cadence when I spoke. And instead of getting in my head, which I almost did, I knew that I needed to make a change and fast because my performance was falling flat. Now, because of my singing background, I decided to think of my speech pattern sort of like musical notes. So I was basically doing like a repetitive, predictable 2000s pop song when I really needed to be doing an Etta James At Last type of song. You know, one that moved around melodically, but speaking. So, am I making sense? I want it that way, tell me why. Tell me why. Like Etta James, like, at last my love has come along.
At last, my love has come along.
My lonely days are over. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Do I sound like I'm making sense?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
As you speak, change things up, avoid sounding like the teacher from Charlie Brown. You know, that's no good. Wah, 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 wah.
Oh, good grief.
Just differentiate your speech. Go up, go down, high, low, middle, you know, imagine it like steps on stairs. And that way you're gonna not sound repetitive and you're not gonna fall into a cadence and you're gonna keep people engaged. So, gosh, I hope that made sense. I've got another story that I think you might appreciate. So I had a client of mine come in to film with me a few weeks ago, and it was his first time he's ever filmed a video, his first time with a teleprompter to boot, and we were standing for this video and he kept swaying back and forth, and I'm like, don't sway, keep your feet firmly planted if you're standing. Honestly, I would recommend sitting at a chair for your videos so that you are not letting out any nervous movement that could be distracting. I know that I use my hands a lot, but I feel like they're more under control these days than they were. Another tip is do a take or two and then look back at the footage and see what's working for you, see what isn't, then go on back and film again until you get the flow. So that same client was like, Margot, what do I do with my hands? Funny enough, I actually went to a hosting class when I was 16 years old, and they taught me to do this like series of gestures. So it was like this, 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 this. It was all these like things. I'm gonna say I felt so goofy and so robotic, and they basically told me the proper hand gestures to use and where to be when stationary or neutral, which is here, and it just felt really forced. So now having this arsenal of hand gesture options was great, but whenever I was thinking of what to do with my hands, I would mess up my performance and I would either flub the script or look like a creepy, lifeless robot. So my advice, don't think about your hands, but also don't not move your hands. So if I just did the whole video like this, I think it would be weird. So my client ended up doing that too, and he looked like he was frozen. Like literally it was just this, and we had to work on it. But then he stopped thinking and he just was himself, and that was so, so good. I was so proud of him. So bottom line, use your hands and let them free flow just like they would when you were having a conversation. I mean, maybe your hands are clasped on the desk. You know, maybe they pop up when you have something exciting to say. Who knows? But hey, this brings me to my next tip, which is think about what you're reading as you're reading it in real time. Don't just read words, feel the words, comprehend them, and then present them like you actually mean them, okay? I mean, for example, have you ever read a page in a book but your mind was elsewhere, and then you turn the page and you're like, wait, what did I just read? What? Then you gotta go back. I mean, your brain definitely looked at every single word on that page, but it did not take a thing in. So reading a script off of teleprompter is the same thing. You cannot present without being present. Ooh, that's good. Ooh. Ooh. You cannot present without being present. I'm gonna trademark that. Don't forget that slogan. I just made that up. Also, be passionate about that script that you worked so hard to write and have fun while you're filming. Remember, this should be a fun experience. You are making your own content for your own channel. I mean, how cool is that, you know? The more fun you have, even with more serious topics, and the more that you enjoy it, the more people will gravitate toward your content and they're gonna wanna see more. And lastly, don't just write the script and then throw it in the teleprompter. Practice it. Read it 4 times.
We're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice.
And get comfortable with it so that you know what is coming next. Now, I say this too because, you know, sometimes when reading from the teleprompter, we may actually speed up and then slow down as we're talking because we're varying our words. Remember the whole cadence thing that you don't want to get caught in? Right. So when you're speeding up and you're slowing down, if the word coming hasn't actually scrolled onto the screen yet, and if you're familiar with the script, then you'll likely be able to improvise or remember that word or words that are coming up next. And that's gonna keep you from messing up. Personally, I like to read the scripts a few times when I'm all set up and ready to film, so that way it is fresh on my mind, and this will continue to really add to that natural delivery that you definitely want. Read it out loud after you wrote it to make sure it sounds natural, and then refresh yourself again just before filming. Woo! What a video! I can honestly talk forever about this stuff. And anyway, in the next video, or part 2 of this series, I'll be talking about presenting on camera, on the fly. Improv, baby. No scripts, no teleprompters, just you making that natural magic. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts that you do not want to miss. Make sure that you're subscribed and you stick around because that's coming up next. I cannot wait to tell you more tips on how to create YouTube videos for financial advisors. And that concludes this video. Alrighty then, on to the next one.